Salama, salama, family. Salama to you all. Welcome tonight. Family, we are having our first Brew Talk live discussion tonight, and I'm so excited because tonight, y'all, we're going to have a real interesting conversation. I think that it's really going to minister to especially the ladies tonight, but not only the ladies, because this doesn't just impact the ladies, it impacts all of us. And we understand what time it is in the world. We understand that the enemy is slick and he's cunning, and we don't always understand how he does what he does. But we know that the scripture tells us way back in the book of Genesis that the serpent was more subtle than all the beasts of the field. So tonight, what we're going to be talking about is a very serious subject that I'm really glad to be getting out, because it's one of those things that's going to make us really think about the choices that we make in our personal lives with our personal care. And I just think it's going to bless y'all tonight. So I'm thankful to have my sister joining me tonight. Y'all know this sister very well. She's been on this platform several times, and she has so much wisdom, so much insight. But y'all, she is my sister. I mean, she's the type of lady that I just look up to because she's so real. She keeps it so 100. And I think she's the perfect person tonight to have this discussion with. So we're going to be getting into the discussion with my sister Jill Chairs of Aruka at the Well Ministries. In just a minute, I'm going to bring her on. Y'all know I got to say a shout out, peace and blessings to the fam. I hope y'all Shabbat was well. And we're going to get in with the get in. But before we do, I want to say peace and blessings to Nicole Jackson in the building. Shalom, shalom to you. Mr. The Original School, what's going on, my brother? Peace and blessings to you as well. Darnell Blackshear in the building. Good to see you, my bro. Brother Calvin Andrus in the building. Peace and blessings to you, my brother. Good to see you again. Sister Stephanie, shalom, shalom. So glad to have you in here once again. Constanza Yah, peace and blessings and salama to you. Sister Mariah, peace and blessings to you. And shout out to all my mods and my newest mod, Sister Mariah. That's my sister. Love you so much, and I appreciate you, sis, for being here tonight. You tell her 777, shalom, peace and blessings to you. All right, let's see who else we have in the building. We got Sister Bessie up in the building. Peace and blessings, family. Thank you so much for being here. All right, and we'll have others that come along the way. If y'all haven't already, go ahead and throw that thumbs up so we can get started. And here we get the crowd coming, and hopefully tonight y'all going to hear something that's going to really just make you think on a deeper level. All right, y'all. So without further ado, I want to welcome in my sister Jill Chairs. Peace and blessings, sis. How you doing tonight?
Shalom. I'm doing well. How you doing?
Oh, you know how I'm doing. I am all right. Let's say blessed and highly favored. Oh, it's so good to have you on. I always love it when I can bring you on the platform.
I love it. We just vibe together, so I love it when we have these conversations.
We sure do. We sure do. And before we get started, I'm gonna put you out there because you're doing a mighty powerful work. How are things going at Aruka at the Well?
They are going really well. Yah is really blessing. We're growing, and we're just seeing powerful moves of the Most High. And our sisters, Aruka at the Well is it's sisters only. It's Daughters of Zion only. But just to see and hear the testimonies and how Yah is delivering people and healing them, and just seeing it happen. We meet every Sunday. And just to get the feedback, and the sisterhood is building, the intercessory prayer, all of the things that the visions that Yah has given me are coming to fruition. So all praise to the Most High for the growth that's happening in this ministry.
Amazing. And I know that he's using you in a mighty way. I know that the women who come there can attest to that. I've been to several, and I can attest to the mighty work that he's doing in and through you. And just keep it going. Just keep it going, because we need more of it. We need absolutely more of the healing of Yasharal. And that's so important. And that's why I wanted to have this first Brew Talk live discussion, because I think that when we think about our inner healing and when we think about our personhood as born again Israelites, there's so many dynamics to it. You know what I'm saying? It's not just us having the understanding from a biblical perspective of who we are, but it's understanding who we are on a day-to-day basis and how we function in the knowledge of the word. And so the enemy has been very good with tricking us with by various means, with just the way he approaches the media and the way he approaches the temptations to involve ourselves in what the world involves itself in. And so tonight we're going to have a very powerful discussion. I want to give a shout out to my sister Shannon, because she sent me this video, which is really informing tonight. It's really kind of leading the headway on tonight. It just blew me away. And I don't know, put a one in the chat if y'all remember Akilah and the Bee, the movie Akilah and the Bee. Y'all remember there was a little girl named Keke Palmer who starred in that movie. It was about a spelling bee, and Lawrence Fishburne was in it. It was one of the very wholesome films. But put a one in the chat if y'all remember that movie. Well, Keke Palmer, all right, okay, Brother Calvin, he remembers, okay. Keke Palmer is partnering with HBO to do a new documentary. And I'm not going to give y'all too much information about it. I'm going to give you the opportunity to check it out for yourself. So it's called Not So Pretty. And I want y'all to take a look at this.
Looking good is all about self-expression. So, of course, we should take care of ourselves. And boy, do we. Nails, hair, makeup, lotions, and everyone's getting in on the game. To the tune of $140 billion a year. But sometimes, all these products may do things to us that are not so pretty.
One day, my hair started coming out in clumps.
I have delayed speech. He had no sperm.
You see her hands, the skin coming off.
I felt pains in my abdomen.
I'm scared.
Almost every chemical you can imagine has been regulated except for the chemicals we use in everyday personal care products.
Okay, hold up. Say what now?
One of the biggest buyers of petrochemicals is the beauty industry.
I said, send me a sample. And in all of them, I found asbestos.
There's changes in brain development, birth defects, ovarian failure,
Infant mortality.
We're truly at a tipping point.
We know Black women have more aggressive types of cancer. We know we use these chemicals on a regular basis.
This was not one or two people. This was an overlooked epidemic.
you would assume that whatever you're buying, because it's on the shelf, it's safe.
Babies are being born pre-polluted.
There is no one to protect us.
It is one of the big crises of our times.
Family. What do y'all think about that? Sis, tell me, what were your thoughts the first time that you saw the trailer to this new documentary, Not So Pretty?
The first thing that I actually thought about is who spends the most money in the beauty industry. And that's us. That's Black women. That's and right. How we're it's like we're falling for their trap, and we're the ones that set the standard for beauty. And they want lips like us, they like bums like us, there's certain things that, and then we're chasing but what they did is they deceived us into believing that our bodies were ugly. And this is a new demon that's been unleashed. The demon isn't new, but it's been unleashed on us more, because I remember growing up, and even in my teen years, Black girls didn't have body image issues. We liked our thickness if we were thick. We liked certain things about ourselves. We liked our lips. And when the oppressor decided it was ugly, then we decided to agree with it. And so it's perpetuated more because of media, because of trying to fit in. But it also goes all the way back to, I'm going to say, the root of the trauma. Not having daddies, not having moms, or, trying to fill voids with exterior things. So those are some of the things that came to mind for me.
Absolutely. And I have to say, I agree, because, we're looking at things oftentimes from the level of the surfacey, right? Like, oh my goodness, yeah, this cream or this makeup or whatever, it's going to make me feel good, or it's going to enhance my beauty. And oh wow, I didn't realize that it has so much toxins in it that was destroying me on the inside. But this is really a solical issue. This has to do with a lot of what's happened to us as a people, and the weight of not feeling our own self-worth, because the images that have been put out in front of us have been those of us it being misrepresented, being put in a situation where we're either looked at as, especially women, as we're looked at as sex fiends, or just not really valuable, just the way we were created. I mean, we're still dealing with a nation that's passing laws to allow us to wear our hair naturally. I mean, that in itself, to me, is just goes to show that we're still very much in that Babylonian system and that Babylonian mindset, trying to look like the new version of the Egyptians, even though many of us, praise Yah, are coming to the awareness of our melanin and the beauty and the strength of who we are as a people. But there's still so many of our sisters that are not. There's still so many of our sisters that still feel the need to wear the caked on makeup and put on the eyelashes. And a lot of that is coming from a place of feeling a void on the inside that's not going to be filled with these outer things. It's going to be filled with the love of our Father. And because of the lack of a father figure and an example of what it means to be loved, we oftentimes think that this is what men want. I mean, you know what I mean? And that's a biggie. And I've heard, guys, and the brothers that are in the chat, y'all can say, if you agree or disagree, all of that stuff doesn't even make you interested in that woman. All that stuff that she's putting on her. Let me know what you brothers think in the chat. But yes, sis, I agree with you. Thank you so much, Brother Calvin, for your gift. Now, I wanted to share a couple of articles because I found that with this information that, it was not just that, the beauty industry within itself through the makeup, but there are other things that our women are falling for that they really need to think about. For example, these Brazilian butt lifts. Now, I don't understand, because see, the bana, we call it in the islands of bana. The bana on a Black woman was always voluptuous for the most part. But how the Brazilians got to take over it, I don't understand. But they got this Brazilian butt lift. And our sisters are going out there, and it says in this article, 5 women who passed away from butt injections. And this is startling. I'm going to read a little bit of the article, and then you can give me your insights on this. It says, believe it or not, Brazilian butt lift surgery is more popular now than ever, even during a pandemic. The BBL procedure is getting done at an alarming rate, and it's raising concerns for a lot of people. Many women have died from cosmetic procedures performed by doctors who claim to be licensed, but in reality are just unlicensed everyday people who have a syringe and no conscience. Wow. I hope y'all heard that. A lot of these people are pretending to be licensed. And I've been hearing about that, where people will go, and there was this one guy in Florida who set up an entire doctor's office, a young guy, young Hebrew, set up an entire office, and he was not licensed at all. And they arrested him later on. But this stuff is happening. What are your thoughts about this whole epidemic, if you will, of Brazilian butt lifts and our women who are going out there trying to increase their bottoms?
I think it's sad because it's just everything is becoming so perverted that everything has to be bigger in order for it to be better. That's why we have paintbrushes now for eyelashes, and we have to have 10 pounds of hair and 10 pounds of makeup and 50-pound butt cheeks. And we're still not happy. But and then we just follow the crowd. We follow what everybody's doing. And you have people like Nicki Minaj, who I think she was one of the women that made it popular. Yes. But they don't, and even what's scary is, even if you put things out if you put information out of how dangerous these things are, we have it in our minds, no, it can't happen to me. And people are flying to and then there's so much deception wrapped up in this industry because someone I know, she went and got the butt lift in the DR in the Dominican Republic, and she came back and she took a picture. Her man took a picture of her walking slow, switching, and I was like, that looks retarded.
It looks fake.
It does. And then she posted on Facebook, see, this is what happens when you work out in the gym all the time. I was like, oh, you get a ticket to the DR so you can get a new booty. So it's like everything associated with this industry is deception. And, and so it just makes me sad because they look so bad, like these eyelashes and these big booties, and they're sagging and they're sliding, and they don't see how bad it looks. That's the part that baffles me. So it's that people think perversion is always sexual, but it's when your thought patterns in your brain has become so twisted up, buying into a deceptive belief that what looks crazy, it looks good to you somehow. And I most brothers that I know, they don't even like when we wear all that stuff.
Yes, exactly. And that's the thing. The trick of the enemy has been to convince us, because of a lack of fathers in our lives, that we're looking as young women for guidance from the media to tell us what it is that men are attracted to. And so you go in, I mean, especially back when, I don't know, y'all remember when like Tyler Perry had just came out, right? And all the movies were aimed at, this black male savior for this, black woman and damsel in distress. And so, she had to look a certain way. And then he made her feel this kind of way. And then they went off riding into the night. But all of this stuff is just an illusion. It's an illusion. It's a fantasy. Because when you really sit down and you talk to brothers, they're like, I'm not interested in all of those things. Those things, at the end of the day, they are for you. Okay. When you're wearing the 4-inch heels, that's for you. When you're wearing the thick mascara, eyebrows, eyelashes out there, that's all for you. The hair that's flowing down, this European, that's for you. I prefer to see what you look like. Matter of fact, I hear a lot of brothers now that they'll say, hey, listen, before you go and make any commitments to her, take her to the beach and let her go in the water, and then let all that stuff come off, and so you can see how she really looks.
Oh my God, it's true though. But here's the thing. The other part of it is, if you don't have, in our culture, if you don't have the right hair, you get, you get beat down for it. If you don't have the right length, the right texture, if you don't have the right shape, our own people, we beat each other up. And so that's when we start to go after what's pleasing to other people to be accepted. But on the flip side of that, back in my 20s, I dressed all promiscuous and things like that, tons of makeup. And I had a male friend tell me, the way you carry yourself, you're not the material that a man would bring home to meet his mother. And it hurt me. That thing hurt me, but it was a fact.
Wow. I think when a real brother tells us the truth, it's one of the most eye-opening and crushing experiences that you can have, but it's so necessary. I remember when a brother who told me that I won't date a woman unless she's a Proverbs 31 woman. And at the time, I hadn't even known what Proverbs 31 was. He said, you got a Bible? I said, yeah. He said, go home and look up Proverbs 31. And I read from verse 10 through 31. And by the way, Proverbs 31 was informed by a king's mother. His mother was the one who had told him how to pick a righteous woman. And so from 10 to 31, King Lemuel, from 10 to 31, this is a description of what a wise man is looking for in a godly woman. And I was like, this woman seems impossible. Right? Because the culture had told me that the only thing that I needed was to outwardly express, like you said, dressing in a provocative way. I'm a former model, so I know all about the makeup and dressing to seduce and be sensual, and thinking that that is what was going to score me the kind of man that I wanted to spend the rest of my life with. But the reality is that, like you said, these guys, they know the difference between someone who they just want to play with and someone who they want to stay with. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yes, absolutely. It's true. And with a lot of people don't realize this, but there's a demon that, those demons that decided they lusted after the women on earth. One of those demons, when he came to earth, I don't know if you were going to touch on this, but he's the one that brought us makeup and taught us how to put it on to be seductive. And they brought they introduced us to perfume and things like that. And, we put these things on and we become seductive. And then the people that we give ourselves to, we embody their spirits. And then we're carrying all this lust around. And lust is a demon that cannot be satisfied, which is why the booties are getting bigger, the eyelashes are getting longer, the wigs are getting longer, because we can't satisfy that lust demon.
Exactly. Now, speaking of eyelashes, I got something to show everybody. Okay. Because family, it's worse than we think. Take a look at this. Waterproof mascara and liquid lipsticks and foundation may contain cancer-linked forever chemicals. This is a study. Forever chemicals. Okay, this stuff is real, family. A study of popular makeup products found most waterproof mascara, liquid lipsticks, and foundations tested had indicators of cancer-linked forever chemicals, and most were not labeled as such. You see, they're not even labeling this stuff. You got to go in and do the homework and dig as scientists. Now, which one of us, for the most part, have a science degree, a major in chemical biology or any of those things to be able to test the ingredients that are in these things? No, we look at the advertisement. Maybe it's Maybelline, right? Not knowing that these things are linked, just the mascara linked to forever chemicals that cause cancer. Researchers tested 231 cosmetic products from stores and brands across the US and Canada. About half of them had high fluorine levels, which is how scientists spot the presence of potentially toxic chemicals called PFAS. Thousands of per and polyfluoroalkyl substances exist, but only a small portion of them have been tested for toxicity. Only a small portion. All PFAS are human-made and slow to break down in the environment and the body. Because they don't break down, they can build up in water and food, they can stay in our bodies, and they can cause health effects. Family, this is so sad, because these people, they will not tell us the truth about what they are putting in this stuff, all for the sake of so-called beauty. What are your thoughts, sis?
Well, I shared with you backstage that that there was this mascara that came out a couple of years ago. I'm sure some of the women probably remember, and you didn't have to wear fake eyelashes, but it was like a synthetic that would stretch, make your eyelashes look a lot longer. But I was afraid. I can't replace my eyeballs, but we take these chances, and they look at us, and they keep telling us we're ugly by what they're not showing about us. They're not going to show a whole lot of natural Black women on TV. We always have to be over made up, over sexualized. And, so these mascaras and things. Oh, there's something else I wanted to say. I was speaking with somebody on YouTube that he was talking about regenerating your teeth. And I asked him some questions about some products I should buy here. And he said, don't buy those products in America, because this guy was in Canada. He said, because in the US, you're not legally obligated to put all of the ingredients on the label. So a lot of times they'll say something is real, and it is, but they don't necessarily have to put in the other chemicals that are in those products that are dangerous. So he was like, I can't remember what the product was, but he said, try to avoid buying it in the US. So that's scary that we're not obligated in this country to even disclose all the chemicals that are in there.
That's right, because a lot of countries, they'll ban things that America will say, oh, you can get over here with no problem. And that's because they have a goal, which, I talked to you about this behind the scenes. I believe that all of this is working towards their goal of depopulation. In my mind, I'm looking at this from the long game. You see, because what I notice when it comes to the powers that should not be, right, that their agenda is never to just do a quick kill off, a quick switch kill off. The agenda is always to do slow and painful deaths. And this is what we see when we have these chemicals that are in so much of these products that we're using. And then you're dealing with the tumors and you're dealing with the cancer. So what do? You go run to the doctor, and the doctor diagnoses you with some sort of cancer in your body. A lot of these products are particularly harmful for our female parts. So we end up having ovarian cancer, fallopian cancer, breast cancer, all of those things. And then they're recommending what? More chemicals on top of the chemicals. So they're recommending chemo and radiation. So they're going to get as much money out of you as possible before you die. That is the goal. That's the goal of the ultimate slave. They want to suck you dry until you die. So it's not that, oh, they're trying to help you and they care about you. They've learned this system. They've learned how to manipulate us in such a way. And so we need to be mindful of this. One of the people commented, I think it was you, Taylor, and said another one of the reasons why we need to get out of this system, why we don't need to be among them, because this is how they do. I mean, this goes all the way back to, what is the guy's name? I have his picture in my mind. I think Rockefeller. Rockefeller is the one who's actually over the pharmaceutical industry in the hospitals. A lot of people don't know that it's John D. Rockefeller who took over the medical system way back years ago and completely changed, because the medical community used to go under the model of the one who said, let thy food be thy medicine and thy medicine thy food. And they had to take a Hippocratic oath under Hippocrates. So when he got involved in the medical industry, Rockefeller did, he changed all of the ways in which medicine was handled to now bring in the chemicals into the medicine. And he made the natural doctors, the naturalists, the homeopathic doctors seem like they were quacks. So he did a character assassination of all the doctors, similar to what we see going on today with the pandemic. Do a character assassination so that he can sell to the medical community these chemical-based treatments, because at the end of the day, he was for, just like his forefathers before him, for the depopulation control. So we need to understand there's always a greater agenda. There's always a greater agenda when it comes to this. And yes, like Sister Pam says, yep, all about the money. Follow the money, honey. That's where it's at. So I'm just blown away at all the things that I was learning. And this is all encompassing. I mean, we're talking even here. The hair dye. This is their clear warnings. Hair dye cancer risk stokes fear in Black women. So years ago, we found out that if you got, the perm, that there was a lot of chemicals in that were cancer causing, but the hair dye too. Permanent hair dye increases a Black woman's risk of breast cancer by 45%. And the more they're used, the greater the risk, as products believed to contain more dangerous chemicals. So, family, this is serious. But my sister, what would you tell the sister who, is feeling like, I hear all of that. I understand what you're saying, but what are y'all saying we should do? Just like put nothing on and just be dry and ashy? What do you tell the sister?
I think that the perspective has to be to figure out why it's so important not to look like you, because we have our sisters and brothers on the continent and on some of the islands that are bleaching their skin, and so we have to educate ourselves that everything that touches our skin, our skin is a sponge, and it absorbs and it heads right for our liver. Or when we have I was getting relaxers for years. I ended up with 25 plus fibroids.
Woo!
And that was between, so I had to have a hysterectomy. So that was between the relaxers and canned foods. And I had to do my own research. If I was disciplined enough back then, I could have shrunk those fibroids, but I was so traumatized by, the symptoms that the fibroids cause that I said, and they push you to get your uterus from you. And so all of this, because they know our organs, our bodies are superior. So they're doing this to take from our bodies so they can experiment, or they can fix it up and use it for something else. So, if we can educate people on what we're putting on our skin that our body absorbs, and that's if we make the connection, because a lot of people don't know there's a connection between what we eat, the chemicals we put on our skin, and the cancers and the fibroids and all of those things. If we can get people to understand the connection, I think that would be a good catalyst as to, don't you want to be healthy? I know you want to be beautiful, but you don't want to end up in a casket in your 40s, because that, it's happening to a lot of us. But our people are being so deceived by the pharmaceutical companies and the doctors. They can't make the connection. And if you try to offer a natural alternative, they look at you like you're crazy. So I think we have to really go deep, like, not just by saying, girl, you don't need that, but you know what that chemical does? Like I did. Okay, here's an example. It's a little off subject, but I started doing research on toothpaste, because if you look at the back of a tube of commercial brand toothpaste, it says, if ingested accidentally, contact poison control. So I was like, wait a minute. So I broke down all the ingredients, and when I looked them up, it causes ADHD. Some of them cause brain fog, brain tumors in our toothpaste. And so even the things that we use daily, what we clean our homes with, all of those things are contributors.
It's so true. And recently there was a documentary that came out on the Stu Peters show. And I don't know if y'all familiar with him. He's kind of like offline on BitChute, but it was a documentary called Watch the Water. And this documentary, if you guys have not seen this, I'm telling you, please, when you get off of here, go watch it. Go on BitChute, look them up, go watch it, because it's really talking about how the water is being used to poison us. And understand that this has everything to do with what we've been going through for the last 2 years. It's like every aspect of our existence is under attack, whether it's the water, the food, the air, what we put on our bodies. I agree with this person here, Lewis Wilson. Peace and blessings to you, and welcome to the channel. I hear this is your first time here. Welcome. Essential oils work better than lotions. The more natural that we can be, the better. I stopped wearing makeup about, I'd say, roughly 5 years ago. I was listening to Stephen Darby. Shout out to Stephen Darby Ministries. And he was talking about how they use the aborted babies. They use that to grind it up to put inside of the makeup. Now, y'all know I'm very, very pro-life. So when I heard that, I wasn't aware of it. But at the same time, I thought, well, this is an industry that is satanic in nature. So I don't know why I would be surprised that they would do something as evil as that. So at first it was a little bit of a tough thing for me to give up wearing makeup. You all will sometimes see me with pictures from the past. Like I posted on my community tab, I had a picture the other day on there where I was wearing makeup. I haven't worn makeup in 5 years. And I have to tell you that initially when I took the makeup off, there was almost like a sense of loss. Like, oh my goodness, I don't know if I can not wear makeup because my natural face, I don't know if I'm beautiful enough, if I'm pretty enough just the way I am without this, because this is how we're trained. Born again or not, this is how society and our culture has trained us to think that we need these chemicals in order for us to feel like we're feminine and that we're beautiful. And of course, I didn't know about the book of Enoch and the scriptures concerning those angels who had taught the women to wear makeup at the time either. But I have to tell you that I allowed myself the freedom to release myself from the need to wear makeup, right? Now, I don't condemn people if they put on some lip gloss. I'm not here to condemn you. I'm telling you my story. So what I found is that after I released the makeup, I had people coming to me just within a few months' time and saying to me, Ashanda, you look younger today than you did 10 years ago when I met you. 10 years ago. And so what I found out was that the makeup, what it also has, what a lot of us don't realize, is it has this aging mechanism in it where it ages us. So we have to keep wearing it and keep wearing it and keep wearing it in order to maintain this appearance. But when you take the makeup off, you'll notice that a lot of times women get very dark circles under their eyes. That's because of the makeup. So I don't know if we're aware of that, but when you take off the makeup, that's when your skin can actually breathe, and your skin can now begin to replicate good cells, so that this good black that don't crack, that it don't crack, okay? Because I'm almost 41 years old, and people will literally tell me today I still look the same as when I was in high school. Now I say I don't feel like I'm 17 anymore, but thank you, I appreciate that. But it was releasing the need to wear makeup, and now beyond just even the fact that my skin has been able to become healthier, I myself on the inside, I feel healthier. I don't need those things to validate me. I have gray hair. I've never dyed my hair once because I've earned every one of these gray hairs. In fact, I named them after my children, Micah, Malachi, and Natalie. Listen.
That's very funny.
But it's facts, aging is a beautiful process that the world has told us that we don't want to do that. We don't want to get older. We don't want to get older. Why don't we want to get older? That's the question. Why don't we want to learn how to age gracefully? It's so sad. Women out here 55 and 60 years old trying to fit on clothes like a 25-year-old, 2 times smaller than them. It's a really sad sight. I don't know, sis. Tell me what your thoughts are.
Well, I see, what I did was one time I didn't have time to put some makeup on because, my 20s and my 30s, I wore a lot of makeup. And it took one time for somebody to say, oh my gosh, are you sick? And I was like, what? No. But it was because that illusion was gone off of my face. And so people were used to see the illusion of me. And when they saw the real me, they thought I was sick. And I said, oh no, y'all just going to have to see my little imperfections on my skin or whatever it is, because I don't want that. I don't want that. And I just, it's an external remedy. Like if you see a woman, and don't get me wrong, they have organic makeup out there. They have some good makeup out there, but and every once in a while I might put on a little lip stain or something like that if I'm going to an event, but I don't want to put that work in. But when you see somebody like in their 70s and they have on booty shorts and a long wig, that's a broken child in an older woman's body. And so she never dealt with the root, and either she was molested or she figured out how to get attention through her body, and she never broke that illusion. So it's sad when I see or you see little girls, like women now, they're dressing their daughters up like hoochies. They want this illusion, and we don't realize this illusion it comes from the oppressors most of the time that pump this stuff out into the media, and they use our brothers and sisters to magnify it. And so how do we break that? How do we get people to stop supporting people like Nicki Minaj or people that brothers that have videos where they're shooting and killing each other? How do we break that? And how do we get back to, because it's almost like a regal thing now to see a Black woman with natural hair and no makeup. I think it's more regal now.
Yes. Yeah, yeah, you are 100% right. Like I love being an anomaly. You know, I mean, everybody else can, be a carbon copy of whoever it is that they want to be, even though it breaks my heart. We all, especially as I get older, I realize that in my maturity, we're all responsible for the decisions and choices we make in life. Whether we're ignorant of the choices we make or whether we're well informed or just willfully ignorant, regardless, we are responsible for our choices. And I've made a
Mhm.
decision in my life that I'd rather be an anomaly. I'd rather stand out because that's what set apart people do. If we're set apart of the Most High, then we aren't supposed to look like the culture. We're not supposed to look like everybody else. I want to, speaking of set apart, I want to give a shout out to my sis in the building, Sister Maria. Our trumpets call. Peace and blessings to you, my sister. So glad to have you here tonight. And thank you so much, Fatima, for your gift. I appreciate you as well. But family, that's what we really have to think about. These are very important questions that we have to begin to deal with among our community because the reality is that we're all impacted. We're all affected. Just because I'm in the situation that I'm in, it's not just about me being in my mindset. It's about what I'm communicating to my children that are going to follow after. When they see how I conduct myself and how I view myself, it's going to inform how they conduct themselves and the relationships that they have around them. And as you said, Sister Jill, that so many times our women, they're making little clones of themselves and these young children. And I mean, it's a whole different conversation we can have within that of just how, just really tantalizing the pedophilia spirit. But this is what is happening with this culture. And what we're doing is we're transferring one set of abuse from one generation to the next. And the beauty industry and all of that that's marketed in the media is right there along to clap and cheer us along the way of having our children prostituted before Molech because we don't want to deal with the real core issues on the inside that we're really battling with. And this is why this Brew Talk discussion is so important, because it's not just about what we see on the surface. It's about what's going on deep on the inside that has to be healed. That little girl that wasn't healed, that little girl that was molested, that was not healed from that molestation, that little boy that was talked down to or molested, that was not healed. So we're looking for things just like our forefather before us and our foremother before us in the garden. We're looking for leaves, fig leaves, to cover over our nakedness. And that for me is the bigger issue. That is what this industry represents. It represents a fig leaf generation. What are your thoughts?
It does. And what it's the more the more that I can deceive you into, there's a spirit of vanity that was also released. And that's why, how many times do we need to do a video of ourselves, a selfie of ourselves posing to a song? How many times do we need to take, it's okay to post a selfie. I do it. But when we're obsessed with ourselves and we're looking in the mirror trying to constantly enhance and constantly, the bottom line is we seek approval, and we don't realize that we're seeking the approval of man instead of Yah. So if a demon is the one that taught us how to put this makeup on and taught us how to do these wicked things against the Most High, then it's another tactic to get his children distracted away from him. And that's why it's so imperative that I did a lesson yesterday in Aruka at the Well about the thirst and the end goal. So we're thirsting after the things of this world. What's the end goal going to be? Death. When we start to thirst after what pleases Yah, we can't even thirst after our healing more than Yah. So what we're doing is we are putting ourselves in position for the end goal. So if makeup and a big bum and big boobs is our end goal, the result of that is death, or guns and money. It keeps perpetuating, but we are under such a strong delusion that our people can't see it. So how do we have to start to reach people that are not within our circles.
Yes.
We have to be able to approach a young girl and just have a conversation, not walk and be like, girl, How long are you going to wear those eyelashes? Because now you just shut her down. Because you know what? If she felt good about herself in the first place, she wouldn't have that on. So we have to think about the approach and how we approach these young girls. How do we engage in conversations that get them to talk about what's broken within them and get them to understand their beauty, instead of like, the old church mothers would walk up and hand you a left scarf and everybody would get offended. There's a different approach that we have to have in love. And first, we have to show them, and a lot of times we're in the truth, or we feel like something has to be showing, or Christianity. I was in Church of God in Christ, and so I was like, okay, so I don't think it's right for me to wear short skirts, so now I'll lower the buttons on my tops. I had to figure out a way to still show what I thought was my feminine side, but it was a spirit of lust that I still had on me and didn't realize it. So if we teach the ramifications of that spirit of lust, then we can start to realize we have to get free from those things. But it all goes back to healing and the root.
Yes.
My father didn't pay attention to me, and so subconsciously I'm going to get his attention through every male out there, male or female, does this. So I'm always going to go back to getting to the root and trying to strategize ways where we can reach people outside of our circles so they feel loved and they embrace what we're embracing.
That's right. I love what you said there. And I purposely didn't put up this comment, so now I'm going to read it. It says, trying to get my middle child to heal by trusting the Most High, but she don't want to hear it. It's like she blames the Most High for how her life is going. And when it comes to our children, the reality is that the older they get, the more their realm of influence changes. Whether we want that to be the case or not, we just have to think about how it was when we ourselves were young. And so the best thing that we can do, of course, is to try to communicate to them in a quiet tone, especially as women, because sometimes they make you want to wring their neck, right? But try to communicate to them in a quiet tone and pray that they have good and wise friends that are brought around their circle. Now, the reason why I say that you have to pray about this is because you know that the enemy is always there lurking to send some bad, negative peers around them. But pray that Yah will begin to, like a chess match, bring forth his own pawns in their circle to begin to help them to see things from another perspective. Because unfortunately, the reality is that we tend to look at other people, right? Like a prophet is not without honor except in their own hometown. I posted that today. But we look at other people and value oftentimes what other people have to say more than we do with the people that are right inside of our space and our circle. And the more our children get older, the more praying we have to do as parents. We have to do a lot more interceding on their behalf, because how these teenagers are. It goes in one ear and it goes out the next a lot of times. And we look and we go like, I did not raise you this way. I put certain values in you, but now I see you turning from those values. And so your child may be going through a season right now where she's really not aware of what's going on with her hormonally. Maybe she's had some trauma in her life. Maybe in the past, she tried to talk to you and she felt like she didn't get the response she was looking for from you. Maybe she felt like you were too harsh or you were disinterested. We don't know why a child is going to feel the way that they're going to feel. But if you're in the place where you see your child is in need and you can't be the one to speak to them, don't just shut them off like, okay, well, that's it. Make the decision to actively intercede on their behalf, and don't try to coerce them because they're smart. They'll be able to see where you're coming from. Don't try to manipulate them. Just pray for them and try to spend as much time as you can when they allow you to come into their space and have these conversations, to be an active listener. That's the thing we have to work on, is becoming active listeners. This is a part of healing. A lot of times, we as parents, we just want to talk, and tell our children how they don't know anything. I'm guilty too. But the more I learn how to become an active listener, the more my child is able to express what's really going on the inside and feel like they have a safe space to do that. So let's work on how we communicate to our young people, because the culture is feeding them one lie after the other. So that's my advice. What would you give for her?
I think that you nailed it. I was writing a book, and yeah, forgive me, I need to get back on it. But the name of the book was "What Happens When No One Is Listening," and I'm not saying this sister is not listening, but it's all in strategy when it comes to our children. And so I would ask my children a lot of questions, and I would what it tells them when you ask them questions about current events and their culture, not my culture, but their culture and their generation. It gets the wheels turning in their minds, and it builds up something in them that tells them, oh, my opinion matters, oh, what I have to say matters. And there was, like, my daughter, she made a comment about a classmate who was very promiscuous, and she got caught. I think there was a line of boys, and she was at the beginning of the line. I don't want to go into details. You can kind of figure out what she was doing. She was the only one that got suspended. And my daughter was like, oh, she's this, she's that. I said, well, hold on a minute. I said, she's broken. I guarantee you, if her father's in the picture, he's absent or he's not in the picture. And I said, this could be you, but because you had someone to talk to you and listen, maybe, that's a cry for help. Even with our sister that posted, she wants Yah, but she may feel abandoned by him, or she may be listening to someone else who feels abandoned by him. So a lot of question asking will get her thoughts, the wheels in her own mind going, like, and not like, why don't you want him? And what? No, it's, what makes you feel like that? Talk to me about what makes you feel like that. Why do you feel angry? And why do you feel like your generation is angry with our generation? And I'm telling you, they'll share.
Yes.
And they'll open up. And then, and then creating that safe space for our children, even when it's me. We had a day called Amnesty Day, where my kids may have made a mistake or something, and they had one day where they could confess it and they wouldn't be punished. But they also had that day to tell me things about me that may be affecting them negatively. And it made me a better parent, because I had to listen to them and realize my actions were hurting them. And so it's, communication. That's the bottom line. And accepting advice from somebody who's already raised their children and, successfully. All of us are going to make mistakes as parents. Y'all knows I did. And, it's the enemy has launched attacks between parent and child right now.
Yes.
And yeah, and I was very close to my children. They're both adults now, and the enemy has put a wedge between us. But I'm going by the scripture in Isaiah that says, and I will restore your children back to you. And so I'm still praying for them. And that's the key right there, sis. Pray for your child. Because when I started praying for my daughter, she started to come to me and tell me, there's something that's telling me I don't have to listen to you. There's something that's telling me to hurt myself. And so we don't know what the enemy is speaking into your daughter's ear. And so that's where we have to kind of invade their space, but not invade their space, in order to gain their trust, to get them to communicate. I know that was a little long, but
no, I love it. That's right. Invade their space, but not like, do it with wisdom, do it with wisdom.
Exactly.
Because especially as they get older, and that teenage stage, like Israelite wife Desiree, she said, I was the same way, with my mom. I didn't want to hear anything, but I kind of had to hit rock bottom. I was talking to my husband earlier, and we were talking about our oldest son, because, he's just a few years short of being a legal adult, if you will. Now, that don't mean nothing. When you hit 18, you still a child, still don't know half of nothing, right? But somebody that told you're an adult, so now you're feeling yourself, right? But, we were just talking about his character. And parents, you have to be honest with yourselves when you're talking about, your children and where they're going, especially in this culture. I know we're talking about beauty and the beauty standards, but again, we're getting to the roots. We're getting to the roots of what's going on the inside of ourselves, of our families. And what we have to do as parents is be honest with where our children are. We can't paint a rosy colored glasses about where our children are. We don't help them that way. So I was thinking about my eldest son. I was like, he's got character issues, and he battles with only wanting to do things if he feels like he's going to get something out of it. And I said to my husband, I said, I said, I pray that Yah allows him to go through the hardship that is necessary in order for him to have a stronger character in life. And the reality is that might seem like it's harsh, but see, I'd rather the Most High deal with my son than the police deal with my son. And not that my son is a son that has any type of behavior that will warrant police. It's not that at all. The reality is that I want the Most High to deal with him and humble him so that he could be a man of valor, so he could be worthy for the kingdom. I don't want the enemy to use the police on my son to tear his life apart before it even gets an opportunity to be started. How many young men were on their way to going to college, or on their way to go doing excellence in their life, but because of some bad relationship that they had and entertained with the wrong people and the wrong crowd, they found themselves dealing with the police. They found themselves in a negative situation that they had no business even being involved in. So I'd rather have the Most High deal with him on his character issues while he's young, so that when he gets older, that he will be a man of valor and a man of wisdom. Be honest about where your children are. If you could be honest about that while they're still your children, even when they're young adults, if you could be honest about where they are, knowing who you are, okay, be honest with you about your own self, and you'll see them reflected in yourself. Then you can help to steer your prayers of intercession for them so that they will be put on the path of righteousness when they're older. They won't depart from it when they're older. So, we just have to be honest, because we're dealing with a lot of root issues. And that's why I wanted to have this discussion today. I wanted to talk about the root issues that we're dealing with as a people. I want to talk about how it's manifested in this chemical beauty industry that's causing us to be sick on the inside in our physical bodies, but also deal with the issues that are causing us to be sick inside of our souls. So I want to give Sister Jill opportunity to share some thoughts, and then I want to share something with y'all that I've been working on, and I'm so excited about it. And tonight it is available to you all. So Sister Jill, could you please share some of your thoughts about all that we've discussed tonight before we move on?
Well, I was just thinking that, as by trade, I manage commercial office buildings, and a lot of the equipment, like elevator equipment, for example, is proprietary. And so, the maker of the equipment, they set it up to where they're the only one that has the parts that are going to fit into this equipment. And so when it comes to, for example, your son, Yah has proprietary rights over his life. And that's why it's so important for us to have this connection with Yah, so that somebody like the police, they don't have the right equipment to come in and fix our children, because they don't have the proprietary rights to us. That's Yah. He has the parts, and he, for lack of a better term, he has the remedy to fix what's going on. And we have to stop looking for people that are not qualified, looking for exterior remedies that won't fit.
Yes.
We are so uniquely made that there's only one who has those rights over us that can resolve the brokenness. And what I learned is, in Christianity, people bash Christianity, and I don't subscribe to it anymore, but I did learn a lot. One thing I learned is, if you let Yah love on a person enough, he'll change their heart, and we don't have to beat up on them to get their heart to change. And we have to let the one who has proprietary rights be the one to convict the heart. I'd rather see them come to an assembly meeting or to a Ruka at the well with a pound of makeup on and a whole 50-pound eyelashes, because Yah is going to start to work on them.
Yes.
And in his time, all of a sudden she's going to show up with her eyelashes off in her beautiful natural brown skin. And so we have to allow the one who has that proprietary ownership to be the one to work on us in his time.
Hallelujah. Well, family, I hope that this has been an impactful conversation for y'all tonight. It certainly has been an impactful one for me. I know that I'm still in the process and a journey of healing myself. We all are, if we're honest with ourselves. And what I want to do is I want to give you all an opportunity to see something that I have been working on. And I want to share it with y'all. Y'all can take a look at this. This is my newly revised ebook, Girlfriend Mentality to Wife Reality. And I have it available for sale for $5. It is an incredible read. It teaches you how to become a high value wife in a low value world, for real. It goes through the marital vows one by one and helping you to understand the oneness process. So whether you are single and you want to know what it means to become this wife of character and virtue before you even become a wife, or you're married and you're dealing with problems inside of your marriage with emotional issues and oneness issues, this is a fantastic read for you. It's a very easy read, jam-packed with a lot of wisdom and a lot of testimonies, as well as if you're an older sister and you want a book to just share with a younger sister. You're trying to communicate to her what it means to have value and worth, and you don't really know how to do it. This is an awesome gift. So guys, if you look up at the pinned in comments at the top, you'll see the link. Please, please, please do not go to Amazon to purchase it, because Amazon actually has the old version, and I'm trying to work on revising it over there. But follow that link so that you can get your copy of that book today, as well as I want all to know that based off of the book, I'm getting ready to launch my Girlfriend Mentality to Wife Reality deep dive session. So that's going to be coming up May 4th. That is, it's a 4-week deeper dive session. It's a group session. So what you want to do is you want to go onto my website, and the button there is also pinned for you. Go on my website and sign up for this session. This session is very powerful. If you are a site member, if you're a patron, or you are an Ashanda At Large member, you get a special discount for the group session. I want you to take full advantage, because we're going to be really dissecting a lot of the things that we talked about tonight and breaking them down. We're at a place, Yasharal, where we have to deal with these issues. Y'all know from the very first time that I started this channel, it was always about faith, family, and the future of our community. And I am staying committed to that calling. So I want to help you all navigate through the things that you're dealing with inside of your hearts and inside of your homes. So take advantage of this group session. Take advantage of getting the book. If you're not able to join us on the group session, go ahead and treat yourself to one or both of those to bless you and your household. So thank y'all so much. Thank you, Sister Jill, for being here tonight. Oh, thank you so much, my sister Maria. I appreciate you. Oh, you are such a blessing. And y'all, let me tell you something. If y'all are not subscribed to Sister Maria, please do. This is such an anointed woman.
Yes.
I saw her message the other day. It's time to grow up. And I was listening, and it's so powerful. You're doing such an amazing work. I love and support you. And I can't wait to have you back on the channel. I definitely will be having you back on. So family, thank y'all so much for your support. I hope that you get your copy of Girlfriend Mentality to Wife Reality, because it will bless you. And I'm not just saying it because I wrote it. I'm telling you facts, okay? Sister Jill, any final things you'd like to say? Contact information where people could reach you? Anything that you'd like to say before we close out?
Well, once again, my sis, I'm so super excited for what Yah is doing. The fruit of your labor, yeah, you know, you're starting to reap the harvest of it, and I just praise Yah for that. And of course, we miss you at Aruka as well. But I know with the baby cakes that you have, it's kind of hard. But we would love for any sister of Zion that would like to join us. We meet on Zoom calls every Sunday, 4 p.m. Eastern. And I can put my email in the chat. And I also started doing YouTube videos again. So pray for me, because, I know it's hard. But yeah, we're trying to grow Aruka at the Well. And I'm grateful for the Imas and the Akoti that support the ministry. And for those we have, it's kind of a branch off of the ministry. It's called Women of Wise Counsel. And so, sometimes if we're not comfortable sharing things in an, open setting, we offer an intimate setting where you can come for prayer or just wise counsel. So Yah is moving, and it's very exciting.
And I'm so excited for you guys. When I set out to do Brew Talk coaching, Sister Jill was one of the first people that I reached out to because I just love her as a person. She's just so down to earth, so real. And I just know that I could trust her judgment. And so I reached out to her about doing Brew Talk. And I said, what do you think about this? Do you think I would make a good coach? And she said, you would make an amazing coach. And so I was so thankful to have her to just support me. And I'm telling you, family, that's what we're here for. We're here to support and to love one another. Sis, I was just thinking this past Sunday, I had a couple of sessions that I had to prepare for, but I was like, man, I got to get Ruka. I got to get her. And I was so busy. I'm going to set my schedule. I'm going to try my best to be there at least once a month to support you because I do know the value of the work that you're doing. It's so necessary, and we don't have enough of it among after all. So thank you so much for all your love and support. I love all of you. Thank you so much for all that you do to support everything that we're doing here. I'm looking forward to seeing y'all again soon. We got some fantastic things coming up. And again, check back on the Brew Talk website because I'm telling you all, it's still AshandaAtLarge.org. Just go on the Brew Talk section. We are continuing to do new things all the time. So we have our group session that's coming up on May 4th, but we also have what's coming up called I Am Accepted in the Beloved, and that will be a video series. So take advantage, family. Take advantage of everything that we have going on over there. And I just am so grateful to see Yah moving through his people in this mighty way. So family, as always, you know what I say all day, every day, love yourselves without hating your enemies. And until next time, family, Yah bless and Salamah.